Oh my God. So what was, I'm sorry.
I remember doing that scene, and I thought, I wonder if anyone has ever just shunned him off, like with Bradley there. I found it so fun. He's such a nice, funny guy, but literally just every time he opened his mouth, I thought, this is probably good for him, just to get a little bit of like, not everybody's into it. And I was like, I bet it's the first time that someone wasn't like, what? Yes.
So looking at these two great scenes, what are some of the conditions that enable you to do your best work? Is it like on this movie, Bridesmaids, and on this movie you found out what that was?
I think I found that out from the Groundlings and even my training, with all the dramas I did of like just listen, put everything on the other person, and then at Groundlings, the ability to improvise. It isn't about going all over and saying crazy stuff. It's about honing in so much on who you're with that I think it continues that world. And I'm standing there with Kristen Wiig. Kristen Wiig is going to raise anyone's work up. She will always make someone better. She's remarkable. So you get to kind of, when you get to work with people like that, and like with those the three guys, it's like, that's where I think you really learn to just kind of, just kind of feel the room and go with, and hopefully when to push and when not to push. But I got very lucky to work with remarkable people.
So in that particular scene, how did you build that relationship with Zach Galifianakis? It's so funny.
Well, that's kind of like Zach. And we didn't know exactly what we were gonna do. Again, it just kind of happened, and we would just be I don't think any of the like being mean to Bradley was in there. And then I didn't know he was going to yell at my mom. It wasn't written as being that cruel to the woman playing my mother. And then I think there were some takes where Zach and I were just like screaming at this poor sweet woman. And then once the gloves are off and everyone's willing to go for it, and that whole group was, that you hope if you go too far, your director's will protect you and not use it. But every once in a while, you push hard enough and maybe it doesn't break, and it can get really fun.
How many takes do you think you would do on a scene like that?
I don't think that many. I'm bad with remembering that. Maybe 5, I don't know.
And are you one of those people who's better at a certain point or worse at a certain point? Some people say it's
both.
It's the 5th.
No, I don't know. I always want to rehearse with the cameras rolling, because sometimes I think that first weird take when you don't know what anybody's going to do, if it doesn't work, great, but if it does, you want to have it. I like the first take a lot, and then I don't know, sometimes I think 3, but then there's no science to it, at least with me.
So how were you making a living? Were you at the Groundlings? Were you always working, or were you out of work some of the time?
Oh no, I was out of work most of the time. At the Groundlings, I was always a nanny. In New York, I always waited tables, probably 2-3 restaurants at a time. Was a nanny in New York, a nanny in LA again, and then I started doing production. And really the first time where I thought about, if I don't get a regular job by the time I'm 30, because I'd been doing it since I was 20, and I thought, I really need to be able to pay my electric bill without occasionally calling my parents to be like, oh, I'm sorry. And I think 2 weeks or 3 weeks before my 30th birthday, I got Gilmore Girls. So that was that really did save me. But I started doing production work, and then I became a production coordinator and a production manager. And I did realize I think it's why I like producing now. I like the building of a project from the beginning up as much as I like being in front of the camera. I find it all pretty interesting.
So you were reunited with Feig on Spy. Yeah. So I and The Heat, both of these.
Yes.
I love these movies.
Thank you.
So let's look at some clips from these two films.